Hey everyone, welcome to The Word on the Street Is with Michael and Gabby, where we mention it all about your favorite Bravo celebrities and the shows they star in.
Hey friends, we are super excited to have a wonderful guest on today's episode. You probably know him from TikTok if you're on the right side of TikTok. His name is Kemp of Kempire. Hey Kemp, how's it going?
Oh, well, how are you guys doing?
Doing well. Happy to finally have you on here.
I know
Yeah,
it's a long time coming.
Yeah, it's awesome. Kemp makes amazing TikToks where he will cover the most recent episodes of The Real Housewives in under a minute. He also has a really great YouTube channel, so we'll include all of this, the bio, the summary for today's episode. So for those of you who have been listening to The Word on the Street Is for a little bit, you will know that our first-time guests share their Bravo palette with us. So Kemp, if you could please tell us your top 5 favorite Real Housewives. They can be past and present.
Okay, perfect. Well, this has become very debatable right now because I know Carlos King recently did a podcast episode talking about his top 5. So for those that are listening, this is just who first came to mind because I never really thought about this until recently. Definitely, I have to put Bethany Frankel at the top. She's definitely my favorite. I only include hers because it's not just about what she's offered on the show, but what she offered to the franchise overall for me and to the culture of reality TV. And of course, when I speak like that, you have to mention Nene Leakes and her influence as well. Kenya Moore doesn't get enough credit for what she's added to the franchise. So she's definitely up there. And Dorinda, I love Dorinda. I think New York probably fell apart because Dorinda didn't come back. And I was debating between Mary Cosby and Sonia Morgan, but Sonia Morgan has been on so much longer. But Mary Cosby gets an honorable mention.
All right. I think someone included Mary once. I can't remember who, but
yeah. She's worth it though. She's worth it. I mean, unintentionally funny.
Yeah, no, she had some great moments.
I think Kemp is the first person to have Bethany as their number 1. I think Bethany's definitely been in a few people's top faves, but I don't think she's ever been their number 1 favorite housewife out of all of our guests. So that's cool. I always love seeing how Bravo palettes are. It's so fun.
She deserves to be number 1. When you really think about where Bethany came from nothing to where she is today and doing what she's been doing, she has to be number 1. She's definitely very influential. For me, it is the battle between her and Nene, but I have to give it to Bethany, especially because it's New York and I'm from New York.
Yeah, Carlos had Nene and Bethany both in his top 5 and Kenya too. But yeah, he was talking about how Bethany has that clause where, now when housewives have a business that they advertise, then, Bravo gets a certain percentage of their sales or, whatever. So she literally has her own clause.
Because of how successful Skinny Girl was.
Yeah.
And how much millions of dollars they missed out on.
Yeah. They won't make that mistake again.
So now, Kemp, if you could please share with us your 5 least favorite Real Housewives, which I love. It's a fun list.
It was a long list at one point. I was like, oh no, you only need 5. You only need 5. Okay.
Yeah.
So and for those that watch me on YouTube probably can already guess some of the people that I picked. And this is not necessarily in the order that I think that they're the most least, but definitely they are fighting for number 1, a bunch of them. Teddy Mellencamp, or AKA I call her the Nat.
Who we'll mention in a little bit when we talk about Beverly Hills, unfortunately.
Robin Dixon. And look, I'll say this, Robin had a few good years. However, her time has been up for a couple of seasons and she's coming back this next season. And I'm just like, why? I put Aviva Drescher on there just because I never understood the fascination besides her throwing her leg across the club floor. She can go. Leah McSweeney, no one is surprised by that when it comes to me. If they follow me on my social media, Leah McSweeney offered nothing. I try to keep an open mind with this last season of Roni, and she proved me correct that she is not meant to be on Roni, and she's part of the reason why Roni fell apart.
Not this.
And finally, definitely not least, Drew Sidora, the newest addition to RHOA. Her and her fake storylines, she can go.
Yeah, I agree about Drew. From her first episode, it was already her and Ralph's issues. And I'm like, I'm already not interested. This is too quick. I don't know anything about you or your husband. And I was like, I'm fine with her not getting a second season. Then she came back and I was like, okay, I'm going to try to give her a chance. First episode in, I'm like, nope, I'm done with her. I did not like her at all.
Yeah. It comes across very inauthentic. And I think that's the issue with her and her husband.
Yeah, there's something really phony about her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I as soon as you said that you don't like Robin Dixon, I remember that like anytime you talk about Potomac on your TikTok, you always include a dig at Robin. Like, oh, Robin's still on this season. I don't know why. It cracks me up every time. Cause like that's not a housewife that like too many people dislike. Like she's very like Switzerland. Like there's really, I
Yeah.
don't know anybody who like really dislikes Robin the way Kemp does, but I don't also really know anybody where she's their favorite Real Housewife either.
Well, the thing is, for me, it's very brand new because I felt like she was good her first couple of seasons. She had a storyline, but I feel as if she's been very desperate and very saved these last couple of seasons. And word on the street last season is that she either had to get pregnant or get married. She did neither one. However, all of that was brought up last season, so it just confirmed all the sources that I heard from that this was going to be her, season to do one of those things. And the fact that she's coming back, it's like, no, we didn't need Robin. We need new blood in Potomac.
Yeah, I think she'd be fine as a friend of, but
Mhm.
I don't think she's needed as full time.
Yeah, as the years have gone on, she's become increasingly more and more like attached to Giselle, like following like what she does and being like really influenced by Giselle.
The thing is with Robin, I think a lot of people, when I comment on these housewives, they think that it's personal, like I hate these people. No, I'm talking about a show. I'm talking about
Yeah.
a show that we're all watching and trying to be
Yeah.
entertained by. I'm producing in my mind what I want to see. I don't want to see Robin anymore, at least not in the capacity that we've been getting.
Yeah.
But I don't
I was
hate Robin.
surprised when Nikki hosted the reunion and like she was digging into everyone. And then I felt like Robin got the most like positive feedback from Nikki.
Yeah, always surprising with these celebrities and their thoughts on it.
Yeah. Yeah. Like Rihanna's favorites are like Karen Huger, although that's not surprising. And then her other favorite is Heather Gay, which is like, that's so funny to me.
Yeah, Heather, I can see why people might like Heather. I have to say, this last season made me kind of look at Heather in a different way.
Yeah.
Yeah, same. Like the same storylines, and she didn't really contribute anything to the group dynamics.
She was amazing season 1 and was my favorite Real Housewife from the first season of Salt Lake City. But this season, like Michael and I just were so bored with her, like sending her daughter to college storyline. It was just interest.
But don't get me wrong, she's still a lot of fun to watch when her and Whitney and all of them get into the mix. She's still a lot of fun. I wouldn't get rid of her just yet, but it's going to be interesting what this new season of Salt Lake City will bring. We just don't need it to be 50 episodes.
Yeah, they dragged it on a little bit last season. But yeah, it'll be interesting because, Mary's gone, Jenny's gone, which obviously happy about that. But then like Jen might be going to jail. So we really need to get some good newbies on there. So we'll see.
Jenny.
Next part of your palette is your favorite and your least favorite housewives husband, past or present.
I really had to dig for this one. You guys gave me homework, and I'm glad that you gave me a heads up, because I don't think that I would have been able to think off the top of my head in regards to this. But the house husbands, the good majority are going to be from Jersey, and there's a reason why we see so much of the house husbands there, because they connect so much with the audience. But Joe Gorga is definitely going to be my number one. Definitely my number one. I think he has a great personality. I think they show him a little too much, but I still enjoy him. He makes Melissa relevant. Frank Catania too. I really enjoyed Frank. Tiki Barber was not a house husband. I'm going to say, because technically they were supposed to be he was supposed to be a house husband. She was supposed to be a housewife. It never happened.
Yeah. And they basically cut her out completely.
So Tiki's in my list, but technically he's not supposed to be. Ray Huger from Real Housewives of Potomac. I really feel like he's come out of his shell in the last couple of seasons. Like, he really just cracks me up now. So he's definitely up there. Peter Thomas. We can't talk about house husbands and not talk about Peter Thomas, or as the internet likes to call him, Patricia.
Patricia, yeah.
How many is that? Hold on, 1, 2, 3.
That's 5, yeah.
Oh, I was.
And
just,
of course, people are
going to say we were just wondering, like, one of each, like one favorite, one least favorite. So if you want to, I love all these like husbands.
Yeah, I like the list. Yeah.
My least favorites, though, are pretty easy too. I didn't realize it.
Yeah.
I have one on here that might surprise you. Of course, PK. PK was likable last season, but he's become increasingly unlikable already this season. Michael Darby, of course. Ralph. Drew's husband.
Oh yeah.
Kelsey Grammer.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
technically, he
like
was a
him.
house husband for a hot second.
Yeah, he
And he
Yeah.
was a terrible human being. So
he's an
I was like,
OG.
oh.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
an OG house husband.
So he had to be a part of the list. And because literally this was leaked this week in regards to Teresa's wedding happening, Louis technically is a house husband. So he's definitely my least favorite.
Yeah, Louis definitely is like well on his way to being a house husband as a housewife's fiance. He's in every episode that, you know, he didn't sign up for. And yeah, we haven't seen the last of Louis. He will be around for quite some time.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
It's a lot easier for me at least, to find housewife husbands that I dislike. And it's a lot harder to find ones that I'm like, oh, this man's like not that bad.
Yeah.
He's like the cast of New Jersey. There you go. There's my list.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, Jim Marchese, Jim Bellino, but he's Orange County. Those are like probably my top two. Oh, and then
Brooks,
husband from Dallas. Oh yeah, Brooks, but he's a housewife's boyfriend.
Yeah.
Because he came to mind as well, but I was like, oh wait, he wasn't a husband.
Yeah.
He actually is now a husband, just not to Vicky. He got to someone else.
Yikes.
And so hopefully he's not lying to her.
All of Vicky's exes have since gotten married. Like Steve Laud, you know,
oh my God, yeah.
Failed gubernatorial run. He just got married.
Oh,
I love Dawn. Honestly, Dawn was one of my favorite housewife husbands.
Justice for Dawn.
Yeah.
You know what? I have to say though, in regards to like the Real Housewives, Orange County, I literally just started getting into. So I know the gossip about all the stuff that's happened there. However, I'm not invested because I haven't watched it chapter and verse.
Yeah, it's definitely my least like invested housewives show. I mean, they had some good seasons, but if I had to chop one, easily OC right now.
Damn.
I mean, it would have been Dallas, but OC too.
Oh, I think I keep hearing rumors that we're going to get Dallas, and it really is on a pause.
I'm hearing that too, that Peacock's going to reboot it either end of this year or next, but it's not confirmed.
Yeah. With Peacock doing so well, it wouldn't surprise me, or at least Miami on Peacock.
Yeah.
So the thing is, if they do a reboot for Dallas, that really gives me hope that they'll do a reboot of Southern Charm New Orleans. Because, you know, I'm always yammering on about how that needs to come back, and it's complete blasphemy that it was canceled after 2 seasons. So fingers crossed that comes back. Like, that is such a great cast. They're like all still doing awesome things. So
you're not the only one to say that. I've heard that so many times from so many people. And mind you, I've never watched it. So many people have said, oh, they need is that coming back? I'm like, I don't know. I don't work for Bravo.
I watched the first few episodes. It was pretty good. I need to finish it, but
it's so good. And I think that girl Reagan looks like freakishly like Corinne Olympios from The Bachelor. It's like they are doppelgangers. It's really good. And especially if like you're wanting to go to New Orleans like me and you've never been, it's really awesome to get some cool like insight into the city and people who actually live there and aren't visiting there. Yeah, so
that's awesome. I'm gonna have to check it out. I'll talk back in later and let you guys know.
Well, we'll have to have you on again for sure. And before we move on to a bit of Bravo news and the Beverly Hills episode, we just want to know what's your favorite non-Real Housewives Bravo show?
Non-Real Housewives would be, and this is very, very new, and I promise you guys I'm not paid by them. I just really enjoyed this show. Love Match Atlanta is a new show that comes on after Real Housewives of Atlanta. And it's about these matchmakers in Atlanta. First of all, you get to see them help their clients. You learn about the matchmaking business. You get dating tips at the same time. And you see the drama that happens between these matchmakers as they're competing in this business. It's so good. And when I recap this live on my YouTube channel, the matchmakers actually show up in the live chat and they are.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
So like, I really enjoy the show. And the ratings have been decent. It hasn't been amazing for them, but this is a show that you don't know anyone on the cast. So it's really just like a fresh, brand new show. And I was like, I wasn't sure about it. And then I watched it. I'm like, no, this is a cute show. I like it.
And it's not like Candy and the Gang ratings were that much better. And, you know, well, it's true.
Yeah.
They weren't bad, though. They're still not as bad as Watch What Happens Live.
Yeah.
Poor Andy.
Well, it's actually funny that in your Housewives palette that you mentioned that Kelsey Grammer is one of your least favorite husbands, because he definitely isn't mentioned often because like it's been a minute since we've seen him in our screens in that capacity. But I literally wanted to share a fact I learned about him recently. And like, I think we saw on the first the first season of Beverly Hills that he's sober. And the reason for that is he was arrested 3 times between 1988 and 1991 for drunk driving and cocaine possession. And I did not realize that he'd been arrested so many times and that like he has a really dark past.
It doesn't surprise me. I mean,
I mean, maybe I'm naive, but I was surprised.
I was quite young when those happened, but I vaguely remember hearing about that stuff. But we have to remember that's a time when there wasn't social media, so a lot of that stuff you would find in like the gossip columns and things like that.
Yeah.
So the old wags would know.
If it happened now, it would be all over.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
Well, he's like really been able to like kind of redo his image and make it very squeaky clean. Like he was in Toy Story 2. He like the Frasier persona is like what people associate him with. And then, he has like 5 kids with quite a few different women. So like people like still associate him as a family man. Like, so he definitely has like escaped this like bad boy past somehow.
Yeah. I don't, well, now we're bringing it up. So good luck.
Well, some other things that we wanted to bring up in the Bravo world, our favorite, not really, person on Roni, Ramona Singer, she might have lost her invite to Teresa and Louis' wedding after her recent shenanigans on Instagram.
Oof, that was awkward.
Yeah, so basically Ramona made a video getting the wedding invitation, it was like a whole box, and then she showed the flyer which had the location, date, time, and then people were able to get into the wedding site and search the invitations because there was like a password. So the password was there, and then they searched the invitations and were able to see which housewives were invited. So like the whole cast was invited. I don't think Tracy, but the newbies of this season, and then like Dina and Kenya. I think Kenya is part of the wedding party, actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, I know I saw Luann and Kyle are also on the guest list.
Yeah.
So also the wedding website has since had to be taken down because of Ramona doing this. Like all these people started going on it and now like knowing all the details about Teresa's wedding that they weren't supposed to.
Yeah. I definitely think that's going to get filmed, whether it's for the show or a spinoff. I mean, I would imagine for the show, but that's going to be a cool crossover with like Kenya being there and Luann. And
I would be shocked if they didn't shoot some type of wedding special for this.
Yeah. I'm just wondering because like they just started filming, but they also don't film the Jersey seasons as long either. But I think they will still be filming in the beginning of August.
They would be silly to not film this.
They'll film it, whether it's a special or, because then obviously Teresa, they probably pay for a good chunk of the wedding too. So
and Kim Kardashian, like on her wedding to Chris Humphries, she made more than she spent on that wedding.
Yeah.
Whatever works.
Yeah.
And the other thing we wanted to talk about, and it's a good segue into Beverly Hills, that Lisa Rinna has been causing all sorts of mess on Instagram with Kathy Hilton's assistant.
Doxing him.
Not this. I mean, Rinna like is notoriously known at this point for like bringing the drama onto Instagram before we even get to see it in the show, and it's kind of funny.
And I wonder why they allow that. I wonder.
She used to get a free pass on a lot of things.
Might be in her contract.
And then I saw that Kelly Dodd, who I don't like to mention, but she made a comment about Lisa being Harry's beard. And then Lisa posted this meme on her story of like when Kim says like, let's talk about the husband. And it's like her in Amsterdam with like a beard on her face.
Yeah.
I love messy Rinna. I don't know.
I really think Kelly chose the wrong housewife to go after though this time.
She'll go after whoever. She doesn't care.
I don't think you should go after Rinna and her husband. I mean, Rinna has so much more clout than Kelly Dodd. I mean,
Yeah,
Rinna's the big leagues compared to Kelly Dodd.
for sure.
I just think Kelly's pathetic.
I think they're both pathetic, to be honest. But I guess if you talk about the levels of pathetic, I guess Kelly Dodd is the worst.
Yeah.
But I just to see a grown woman this weekend go back and forth with this young man on social media, it's a little weird to me. Like I know we get fodder from it, but it's just like, what are you doing? You're grown. You're basically a grandmother, and you're going back and forth with this young man.
Not a grandmother.
I mean, she could be.
Yeah.
Amelia broke up with Scott, so she's not going to have Mason, Penelope, and Rain as grandkids anytime soon.
Thank God.
I feel like that was a storyline too. I feel like that whole situation was to get more clout for her daughter.
Yeah. We knew that was not going to last. But yeah, we want to get into now episode 3 of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills when they're heading to Kyle's La Quinta house.
There's Sutton about Crystal.
They're always really clever with the titles. I'm always like pretty impressed. I mean, every once in a while it's kind of cheesy, but
it's hard choosing titles.
So Kemp, what are your thoughts on this season so far? And also, what are your thoughts on newbie Diana?
The constant
licking, yes.
The constant licking of her lips. Here's the thing. One of the reasons people watch Beverly Hills is because they want to see the opulence of the way that they live. But the thing is with Diana, it coming across, the pretentious is not even the word. If there's a word for overly pretentious, then that is Diana, because it's just like, darling, I don't even know what an outlet is. Girl, stop it. You're a brand new money.
Yeah.
Hold on.
I know it surprised me because she was so open about like being new money and flaunting it. So I'm like, you would know what an outlet store is.
Yeah, that bothered me because I've really been liking her up until that like car ride with Crystal where she was like saying she didn't know what an outlet is. And I was like, you're not Paris Hilton. You weren't born with a silver spoon in your mouth. Enough.
Yeah. And then the whole, coming at Sutton, I feel like Sutton has been carrying these first 3 episodes. Everything has been about Sutton. So Andy, I really believe that Sutton should be sitting right next to him at the reunion, like she should have been last season.
Yeah, if I had to guess, it would be Erica and Sutton.
Yeah.
But Kyle must have something in her contract. She's always sitting next to him.
Who did you say?
Kyle Richards.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just saw something that she sat next to Andy every season up until like season 6, but she's usually next to him.
Same with Giselle Bryant on Potomac. She has sat next to Andy every single reunion.
Yeah, it was Giselle, Nene, and Kim Zolciak were the 3 that have always sat next to Andy.
But all 3 of those people are usually bringing it. Kyle is not usually bringing it.
No, I mean, I think it's because she had the drama with Brandy early on and then drama with like her sister. But
yeah,
I think it's more so because of the people she's feuded with, not because she's brought it as much.
Kyle has a lot of connections in Beverly Hills, and plus she's Paris Hilton's aunt, obviously. She has so many connections that make her appealing as a housewife, even if she doesn't completely bring it. And she's also like one of the like wealthiest housewives too, like between her and Mauricio with like the agency and just like they're doing really well financially. So I just think Kyle brings a lot to the show, even though she's not the most dramatic housewife, in my opinion.
And you don't need every housewife to be dramatic because you do need a balance amongst the housewives. But I don't know about the addition of Diana. I don't love her so far, but I'm going to keep an open mind. But Erica this season is continuing to be the ice queen. Everything has been disproven. Where, Erica? You're literally still in the middle of it all. Literally.
I'm like somewhat of a Erica fan still, which is really unpopular. I feel like a lot of people do tune in because of all the stuff that's like happening with Erica too. So
yeah,
whether it's good or bad.
Yeah. I mean, I think people tune in, but I feel as if people like Sutton, Crystal, or Garcelle didn't ask the questions, last season would have been a dud. Because if people aren't asking the questions and they're just sort of sugarcoating everything, which I feel like Dorit and Kyle would just sort of like, oh, they'll ask the question, but then be like, oh, okay. things are
Yeah,
over, things have been
it's true.
disproven. So if there's no interaction, that storyline could have been like womp womp womp. You know what I mean?
Something else I wanted to say too is like I'm not really buying that Crystal doesn't buy anything at retail price, that she waits 3 years to buy it. Like she owns a $95,000 Birkin. Like I also, it kind of bothers me when Real Housewives are cheap. It's like you don't need to be cheap and like looking for bargains when like you're married to the freaking director of The Lion King. Like it just, I don't know, it just annoys me.
I believe it. I feel like that's really authentically her.
Yeah.
I really believe it.
I think a lot of people actually like that though, because then it feels like it makes them more relatable. Like Lisa Barlow loving fast food, a lot of people connect with because it's like more relatable.
Yeah, I would believe it if she didn't own a $95,000 purse. Then I would believe it.
Well, it's actually a smart investment. Look, I don't know about bags, but I do know it's a good investment.
That's a down payment on a house.
At least.
Saying, like, I just think it's one of those things where like a housewife's just saying something to be kind of relatable to the audience, but I don't believe it personally. You don't spend almost $100K on a bag and shop at an outlet mall. It doesn't add up.
I mean, that's how she's able to shop via that Birkin bag, because she saves on everything else.
And it's funny because we went to Palm Springs recently, and I think Gabby, I don't know if those were the same outlets, but Gabby mentioned like stopping at the outlets that we passed.
She said the Capazon outlets, those were them.
Yeah.
Stop at those. There's like a Gucci outlet there. Like there's like a bunch of like really high-end designer outlets there.
Oh, I'm gonna have to check that out when I get to California.
Yeah, it's on the way home from Palm Springs.
Yeah.
So. I know what an outlet is.
Oh, we know. We love an outlet. So, well, speaking of, it's not an outlet, but it's in that same realm of shopping and stores. Kyle's like, it kind of looked like an outlet from the outside with like that terrible font she's using. It's like Helvetica or something. I was like, oh, come on. You couldn't have hired a fabulous graphic designer. Hire Kyle and Amanda, like Loverboy, cutest logo stuff ever. I don't like the taste of those drinks, but like aesthetically, top notch, super cute. Kyle should have hired them.
Kyle doesn't have really good, what's the word? Not business sense. I don't know. Sometimes Kyle does stuff and you're like, girl, I don't know if she's just doing it to have fun with it. I'm just like,
yeah. I don't feel like there's that much on the line for her sometimes,
Yeah, she'll be like, I'm so stressed out with my store. I need to do all this ordering. I'm so sad it's closed. And I'm like, but this is not your livelihood. It's more of like a hobby. And yeah, it's nice for you to make money from it. But like, we all know it's not like, it's not going to like ruin your life that this store is closing.
Yeah.
How many stores have closed since we've known her?
At least a few, right?
Yeah. Kyle by Eileen too.
And then this store is with that same lady that she had that fashion show with back in season 10, I think.
Oh, and then Teddy was there. Kemp's and she was there with her brown hair looking like a total fan.
More like single white female.
Luckily, she wasn't shown too much. Like
they didn't even mention her being one of the people who came to Dorit's house in the morning the day after the robbery.
Yeah,
there too. They couldn't even have included 1 second of that.
No, because they don't like her as much as we do.
No need to. Yeah.
I know. It's just I'm not advocating for her. I just think it's funny.
They don't like her either, because if you notice at the party at the store opening, oh yeah, Diana also said, I've never been to a store opening before. Okay, Diana.
She said she would wear the clothes at home.
I feel like going to a store opening is a very rich person's activity.
Right? I would think.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But if you notice, the Nat wasn't even mic'd at the party. They literally had to put captions by the gracious Garcelle spoke to her, and she actually got a moment on the show this week. Sorry.
Well, like as we know, like Teddy and Kyle are like thick as thieves, even like now that Teddy's not on the show. She even told John Mellencamp, they had this like whole like moment reposting it, but like she told John that like the best part of joining the Real House of Beverly Hills is meeting his daughter. I was like, oh, please.
Yeah, I feel like Teddy films a lot more than they show because she's so close with Kyle, but they don't ever really show her.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so sad. But I mean, that's the one good thing about Kyle. She's your friend. Besides stabbing Sutton in the back this week. But usually if she's your friend, she's usually a good friend to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Kyle's pretty middle for me. Like she's not my least favorite, but she's not my favorite. But I do feel like she somewhat keeps the group together. Like she's still, even if she has drama, she's still pretty friendly with everybody. So I feel like the dynamic would shift with her gone.
Yeah. Well, let's test that out. let's test that theory out.
Well, she said that she wasn't sure if she was going to return, which was bullshit.
Please. I think that's about as believable as Joe Gorga saying he's quitting the Real Housewives of New Jersey.
Yeah, exactly.
Cue him filming this past week.
I know, him storming off the set, please. He's like the pride wolf.
This is what else is Joe Gorga doing for work at this point?
That's a good question. He's had a lot of really like weird different business ventures over the years, like his trash business, his construction company, where he's like pretending to flip houses that he didn't really flip and promoting that on his Instagram.
Yeah.
He is such like a shisty businessman.
Sketchy.
So sketchy. Like Joe Giudice, like something about these like Jersey guys that like you don't really know what they do for work, but they make a lot of money and it just doesn't really add up. And like
the only one that we can actually know what they do for work is Tiki at this point.
Yeah. Sports commentator, former athlete.
Because I'm trying to think, like, who do we know that actually?
Yeah, I feel like Evan is like something financial. Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't get a sketchy vibe from Evan. I think he's just quiet, really? So we don't really know.
So you don't think Evan cheated? No,
well, leave Jackie alone. No, but well, back to Beverly Hills. I didn't love Kyle when she was fighting with Crystal. I thought she was being kind of a mean girl, like saying she's being dramatic, even though Kyle cries like every other episode.
Yeah, and I didn't like her like just calling Crystal a millennial in her interview. I was like, stop. And like also Crystal's not like, she looks really young, but she's not that young. Like isn't she like 38 or 40? Like I don't think she's
that's why when she said that I was like
I think she's like in her mid to late 30s.
Yeah,
like she's still the youngest, but
I don't think she falls into millennial category status.
I thought that was interesting that they even left that in, especially because, Bravo wants to skew younger. So I don't think you're going to turn off your millennial audience.
It didn't put Kyle in a good light.
No, it didn't.
Especially when she's a hypocrite.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, she really was. Like Kyle cries a lot, actually.
A lot. When I was rewatching Beverly Hills, like, I knew she cried a lot, but it was like, felt like almost every episode, honestly.
I'm just waiting for someone on the internet to make a compilation of how many times Kyle has been dramatic over the years.
Yeah, and call her out.
Yeah.
So I felt like this was like the least exciting episode so far.
Is that also representing the ratings? The ratings for Beverly Hills have been going down since the premiere.
Yeah, I think it went down and went up, but it's still down. Like the premiere did really well, but yeah.
So I think this is the first time in Word on the Street is history we've only covered one episode. Like, Michael, can you think of a time that this has happened?
Summer House ended, Jersey ended, and then we didn't have Atlanta this week, so.
Yeah, I feel like that was really uncool of the Bravo producers to not show Real Housewives of Atlanta on Memorial Day weekend. Like, no one worked on Monday. Why the fuck wouldn't you show it on Sunday night?
I feel like the ratings wouldn't have been good though, because a lot of people are doing stuff and on vacation and stuff.
Well, whatever. Those of us who always watch it the next day were really pissed.
Yeah.
We were so happy to have Kemp on our podcast for the very first time. So Kemp, if you could please share with our listeners where they can follow you on social media, that would be awesome.
Everything is at the Kempire. If you put Kempire in, all of my stuff will come up, thankfully. But they can head on over to thekempire.com for more details.
Awesome.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, we had so much fun talking about Bravo with you, and we'll definitely have to have you on again because we need to get your take on Potomac for sure, because I know you have a lot of really fun things to say about that. And then Salt Lake City too. So
yeah,
a lot of stuff on the pipeline that we'll need to have you back for.
Thank you guys so much for having me.
Yeah, it was super fun. We'll see you next week for another episode of The Word on the Street Is.